I certainly agree with you that it's a great tragedy, and I do, I think it's when you accuse me of using the quotes that kind of back up what I believe, I think it's very convenient here to remove all responsibility from the Israelis. Like, even if I'm telling you that you have these quotes, I mean, I'm not talking about fringe figures. We could read through the list of people who have admitted what the strategy was with them funding Hamas and propping them up. But hold on, let me just say, so if you're going to tell me Israel props up this terrorist organization in order to kill the peace process, in order to make sure that the international community gives them a no one. By the way, Smotrich, right, the finance minister, okay, he's on record. He's on record saying, look, Hamas is an asset. The Palestinian Authority, they're the liability. Hamas is an asset because then we can tell the international community, well, look, what do you want us to do? There's a terrorist organization here. We can't do business with them. And then even Ehud Barak admitted, like, this was also so that liberal Israelis, if it was the Palestinian Authority, they'd be like, hey, we should make a deal with them. But since it's Hamas, they can't. Okay, so if Israel props up this terrorist organization and then as a response to them committing a horrific act of terrorism, decides to level the entire place and just slaughter women and children in large numbers.
It didn't decide to do that, and it didn't do that. But yeah.
It didn't level the place. Gaza hasn't been destroyed.
Gaza is pretty leveled by now.
Yeah.
But it did not go in to level the place like that. No.
Okay, they went in and leveled the place, but that wasn't their intention?
Let's just go back to the beginning if we can.
Sure.
Because it's important. Since you're interested in the question of the Palestinian state, the Palestinians were given another state in 2005 when every single Jew was removed from the Gaza by the IDF and when even the graves of Israelis in Gaza were dug up and taken into the rest of Israel. Of all of the what-ifs of Palestinian Arab history, the era since 2005 should be one of the great what-ifs, which is, what if the American taxpayers' money that was poured into Gaza, the European Union taxpayer money that was poured into Gaza, had been used by a government in Gaza to build a state that lived side by side with their Israeli neighbors and flourished. And it's not like the money wasn't there. It's not like there wasn't the international will. Ismail Haniyeh and the other leaders of Hamas used that money, as you know, to make themselves billionaires and to buy themselves and their kids condos in Qatar and to live extremely well, whilst withholding the money from the Palestinian people, whilst building their network of tunnels throughout Gaza and building an infrastructure of terror. And that's what they did with 18 years in Gaza. And of all of the what-ifs, just consider that one was in their hands. The Israelis did not make them vote in Hamas. The Israelis would not want a terrorist entity that wants to annihilate the state of Israel, that is there on their doorstep, constantly firing rockets, starting wars every few years. Why would the Israelis want a group there that means that if you're living in towns like Sderot or Ashkelon or Ashdod, your children grow up all the time knowing that they might have to go to the bomb shelters? And that's during peacetime.
Well, according to them, the reason they want it there is because then it kills the peace process, and then you have a no one to negotiate with certificate, and that then you can keep your eyes on building up settlements in the West Bank.
There are, as now, many people to negotiate with. Mahmoud Abbas may be, I don't know as the joke goes, currently in something like his 20th year of his first 4-year term as head of the Palestinian Authority. But Mahmoud Abbas is there in Ramallah. The compounds of the Palestinian Authority, which I've been to many times in Ramallah, are there. They run their portions of the West Bank. They could be there to negotiate with at any moment. The Israelis have said they want to negotiate with them at any moment and come to the deal. In fact, Netanyahu, you're so fond of quoting, said again before this war began that he would come to the table with no red lines to begin with to start another negotiation with the Palestinian Authority. But let's just get back to this thing, because this is so crucial.